Hi and welcome to Rainy Dewey's Art Spot. If you're new here, thank you for stopping by. If you're a regular subscriber and watcher, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This is part 2 of my card making made easy and inexpensive series. The second card is the one that I'm making for Terry, and it's going to take a little more time. I think it took a little over a half an hour, maybe 35 minutes, and so I wanted it to be a cluster of tulips, a little more effort put in. I had the time, so I wanted to do something that took a little more time. And so I start off again by using my 2H pencil, and with a very light hand I sketch in my tulips. And I try to have them leaning one way or the other, just to make it a little bit random and interesting. And I added a couple of little ladybugs who were having a conversation sitting on top of the tulips. I always like to do something like that with snails or ladybugs. And of course I had to have a little bird who's bringing a message to Terry. So what I did was, I usually have this little cartoony bird that I've been painting or drawing for years, and I really don't like it, so I pulled out my iPhone and looked up flying birds and just really tried to simplify the shape. And so I'm going to get out my bird book and try to find a little bird with a striped head to paint on that little bird. So anyway, I want you to notice that a lot of these shapes are just circles and ovals, so they are pretty simple and they don't need to be perfect. Once you have your drawing all squared away, I always outline my image in a permanent marker. And once the marker is dry, I gently erase the pencil marks. Here I've begun doing the colors of the tulips by using a base wash of cadmium yellow. It's a nice yellow that I let dry completely, and then over the top of it I layered in cadmium red. You can see that by, this is called glazing. Glazing is where you do a base coat that you let dry completely, and then you paint another color over the top of it. And you can see that it gives the color, instead of just being red or orange, it gives this beautiful glow from underneath. And you'll get a different effect if you did a light coat of cadmium red with the yellow over the top. So the main thing that you would want to do is just experiment. So in these washes, I would put clear water and then drop in the cad red, or I would just paint the cad red, then soften it with my brush. Here I'm laying in the colors of the leaves, and so I laid in again a yellow, and then while it was still wet, I dropped in some of my greens. And you can see when you do that, that's where watercolor has this magic that happens. So while it's still wet, you drop in another color, and then they mix right on the paper. And I'm telling you, you can't control it, but it's an exciting thing. You know approximately what effect you're going to get, but it is a fun technique to try. And so here I am trying to paint my little bird. And what kind of went wrong with it, so I had to wet just that little spot on his head, one blot with the paper towel, removed all of the error, and then here I'm using an opaque white, it's a gouache white, just to start all over again. And then the best way to do it is to let that gouache white dry completely before you go ahead and do the details. And then I wanted to put a little message in I've been thinking about Terry a lot, and so it's a simple message thinking of you. Now, my penmanship isn't all that great, so whenever I do these little cards, I like to use these, you know, this fun font that's very forgiving, and it looks like you meant to do it in a whimsical way when you really don't have good penmanship. So anyway, I wanted to thank you for watching. If any of you are going to try these cards, or you may have something that you do that's your own that you'd like to share, I'd love to see them. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you made it this far, please give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Take care. Have a blessed day.